afternoon, night, wherever you're watching from. Good to have you. Great to see you. How you doing? So I am coming up live earlier today because I'll not be able to do this at 5. I have an event. And so I'm hoping that those who usually meet with me at 5 will catch up with this. Apologies for the change in schedule. So how are we? How are we doing? How are we doing? A lot of issues in the week. I'm trying to actually ask myself that which one should I be talking about? I think the one that touches me the most is the one that had to do with the is it 14-year-old or 15-year-old boy who I hear is writing WAEC, and the dad there in Ibadan, dad got into some kind of, let me just say, issue with traffic guys, and resulted in a bullet being fired, resulted in the boy being hit, resulted in the boy losing his life. And there are some things that you hear and you just, like the way I'm folding my hand, like you just hold yourself together, like you don't know how best to express your emotions. So they must have left home in the morning of that day. Painfully enough, the young man has is a twin, it's Kennedy. So his tie was riding in the car. You know the trauma of watching that kind of thing happen and having to live with it. The dad must be full of regrets for every single step he took, whether it was that he was driving one way, or that I say he was taking his tire, or that I say that the guys were ambushing him, or he said, honestly, an innocent life has been lost, and it's very painful, very, very painful. I also read a story during the week. So if you ask me what's the character implication of that, you can tell me that some things that are meant to happen will happen. But you see, there are some things that are not meant to happen that do happen. So how could a better character have helped in that situation? I'm not being judgmental. I'm just helping us see that every day we take decisions, we take steps, we do things that show how wholesome or less wholesome our character is becoming, how developed or how weaker they are becoming, how much we are standing up more for our values or letting them just range freely. So, what could have helped, both from the parent side and from the law enforcement side? You could have waited and spoken with them. If you don't have anything to hide, yes, the children might be on their way to school, and so you can say that you want them to go and not be late for their exams. But you could have stopped the point at which, and this thing about arresting at all costs, this thing about not being corrective, but just, I don't know, I don't want to be judgmental because a life is involved, and that's enough, like it's enough strain for the mind. But I'm saying that a little patience here and there, a little consideration here and there would probably have made Kehinde to see their life today. His Taye would still have had him. The dad himself would still have had him. I followed up the story and I learned that the man said, I think he said he's been the only one taking care of them for like 7 years after his wife had left him. On the law enforcement agent side, what do we want to achieve with force? And then what's the rationale between trying to fire at the tire of a vehicle and you ended up gunning down an innocent child who was in his uniform going to write his WAEC, sitting with, I think the man said there were 5 students in the car. Two of them or thereabouts were his children, twin, a set of twins. There's a way that a story like this can actually just rob me of the energy of a show, but I will not allow it because, but it could be a buffer for what I want to talk about today. The story I want to share today. Remember, I've been sharing stories. There's this other, if you're not aware, I started a column in Front Page. Front Page is an online newspaper owned by Mr. Sakibo Olokojobi. So I started a column every Tuesday. And this Tuesday, this week, I wrote on carelessness, um, apologies, and professional sleeps. How that if we avoid plenty carelessness, why must you shoot? Why did you shoot? Why are you trigger happy? Okay, so why can't you live with the reality that the guy could escape? Why isn't there a more decent way to go around it? Why unnecessary waste of life? Young destiny, why? So I was writing about that, and these things are all over the place. People who are supposed to be professionals in their right, who are supposed to know what to do, have been certified one way or the other, chapter the one way or the other, and still come out and act like they know nothing. So there's this very good professional photojournalist that I knew back then in the Punch, Mr. Sam Adeko. I was shocked to read the story of him in Online Punch and him talking about how he has lost his wife that is about 60, and it had to do with taking the wife to a hospital. So this happened. The wife fell into a ditch, sustained maybe major injuries, taken to a general hospital. I will just keep their name away. General Hospital here in Lagos. I mean, that's how much I can say for now because I believe that this case deserves to be investigated. So took her to the hospital and plus minus, they amputated the toe, I guess. And the woman couldn't get herself again. Now, here is what the photojournalist was saying, the husband. He's been saying in the news that they did not seek my consent before amputating my wife's body parts, and that she did not get herself again from that moment till she died. Where is the correlation between you fell into a ditch and then it became death, and you were being seen by a professional medical person or a medical professional, pardon, plus, minus, maybe negligence here, maybe lapses here, and the poor woman is gone. So, how much more of all of this are we going to have? Today, my show is about questions. So if you see me starting on the note of questions, it's because that's what the mood for the show is. I have been talking about 50 valuable lessons I've learned in 50 years of life in each of my shows since last month. And today, I want to talk about the fact that I learned at some stages in life, whether by experience or by learning, that there are questions you should answer before life will ask you. I learned that there are questions you should answer before life asks you. So what does that mean? If you've learned to answer that question, by the time life asks you, you just re-echo the answer to life. Okay, so it's different from when you have never in your slightest imagination thought of answering that question. And all of a sudden, life begins to ask you that question. You know, you are going to be, first of all, put out of balance. So, my main lesson I'm sharing that I learned, that I've learned, because it's a continuous lesson, and I'm going to share some of those questions you can please take the time to find out whether you have also answered those questions. I will also let you see some decisions that I found myself making on account of answering that question. Okay, so questions you should answer before life asks you. So I learned that there are questions, life taught me there are questions you should answer before life asks you. How does life ask us questions? Life asks us questions when it asks us, when you're in that mode where you are struggling to know how to answer. What are some of these questions that life might ask you and you should live proactive, live on the what's that word now? You should be ahead of yourself in life and expose yourself to learning how to answer those questions. So I started with two stories, and they are regrettable stories, and there are questions. The persons in the picture will answer those questions. But for you and I need you to know that there are questions that you should answer about you before life will ask you. One of such questions. So it's not a teaching, no. I'm just saying that I've been through these stages up until now, and I know that these are not the only ones. The first one is, what does success mean to you? I tell you the truth, if you do not learn to answer this particular question, you could lose yourself without knowing. Because life, people can push to you what success should mean so much that you can lose the value of the person that you are. So one of the questions that I learned that you should answer before life asks you is, what does success mean to you? Some people set out in life, the way all of us strive, make effort, get consistent, get committed. They talk about passion, drive, and you're doing all those things. If you do not know what success means to you, anything will look like it. Anything will look like it. You could even underlive your life or live your life out of context. So it's important to be able, in your self-awareness journey, in your self-awareness towards self-actualization journey. I'm also on that journey. To answer the question, what does success mean to me? What does success mean to me? So I have an hierarchy that I have to learn to create. You can create yours. It does not have to be exactly my own. So this is my own hierarchy about what success is. Number one, success means being one with God, like being in a firm relationship with God. Success to me is when I'm at peace with God.